Your Honor, Justice Francisco Perez de los Cobos of the Spanish Constitutional Court. Gaya po ng napaliwanag na ng ating kagalang-galang na Senador Edgardo J. Angara, si Justice Francisco Perez de los Cobos ay miyembro ng kataas-taasang hukuman sa Espanya. Doon po, meron silang Constitutional Court, meron ding Constitutional Court. Sapagkat doon po, ang mga kwestiyon o kaso tungkol sa konstitusyon nila ay tinataas doon sa Constitutional Court. Lahat ng ibang kaso sa Supreme Court. Ngunit dito sa ating bayan, maski anong kaso pumupunta sa Supreme Court. Kaya lang po, pagka constitutional question or case, lahat po ng justices, 15 justices ng ating kataas-taasang hukuman ay bumoboto. Ngayon sa ordinaryong kaso, 5 lang po ang bumoboto. Ang tinatawag natin doon division cases. Yun po ang diferensya ng paghahain ng mga kwestiyon sa ating Korte Suprema. Gusto ko rin pong batiin si Jesus Gracia Aldos, Vice Minister of the Department of Foreign Affairs or Ministry of Foreign Affairs ng bansang Espanya. At ang embahador nila, si Jorge Domecq, na embahador ng Bayang Espanya sa ating bayan. At ang mga miyembro ng Diplomatic Corps nasa iba-ibang bansa, lalong-lalo na po yung mga kagaya natin na naging teritoryo na sakop ng Espanya noong araw. Narito po sila at karamihan ng mga bansa rin dito sa Asia, nandito silang lahat. Kagalang-galang na Senador Edgardo J. Angara, alam po ba ninyo, ang inyong paboritong anak ng baler na si Senador Angara, dapat naging Chief Justice din ng ating kataas-taasang hukuman. Siya po ay in-offer. In-offer po ang Chief Justiceship sa kanya ni President Marcos. Nung araw pa. Siya 52 years old lang noon. Sana'y siya naging pinakabatang Chief Justice ng ating Korte Suprema. Pero pinahindihan po niya sapagkat ang sabi niya, dapat ang Chief Justice ng ating Korte Suprema at ng ating bayan nanggagaling sa mga Associate Justices. Naging malaki po ang puso niya at inayawan niya ang maging Chief Justice. Palakpakan po natin ang ating Senador Edgardo Angara. Kaya po ang tawag natin sa kanya hindi lamang Senador, hindi lamang Senate President, naging Senate President din po siya, di ba? Siya pa rin offered Chief Justice. Alam nyo, marami hong Chief Justice Merong retired Chief Justice, ako yun. Merong acting Chief Justice. Yung po umaakto ngayon na hindi naman Chief Justice kasi wala pang na-appoint, di ba? Yung po si Justice Antonio Carpio, siya acting. Meron din pong impeached Chief Justice. Yung nakaraang Chief Justice. At meron din pong future Chief Justice. Yung hindi pa na-appoint. 50 po ang nag-a-apply para doon. At kauli-ulihan at pinakamagaling, merong offered Chief Justice. Yan po si Senador Angara. Papatingin ko rin po si Undersecretary Laura Del Rosario ng ating Department of Foreign Affairs at ang aking kaibigan din, ang maganda at magaling na Gobernadora ng Bayan ng Aurora, si Belia Flor Angara Castillo. Palakpakan po natin ang ating Gobernadora. Ang ating Mayor din, si Arturo Angara. At kaibigan ko po, si Maria Serena Jokno. Hindi nyo na itatanong, yan po ay matapang sapagkat she is the worthy daughter of a worthy senator, si Senator Jose W. Joke lang, magaling pong senador yon. Kapareho po ni Senator Angara. At mga kababayan ko dito sa maganda at manigong lalawigan ng Aurora at bayan ng Baler. Sa pagpapakilala po siguro dapat hindi ko rin makalimutan yung aking may bahay, si Lenny Panganiban. Nandito rin po. Ayun. Alam nyo, kaya ang tawag sa akin, Chief Justice. Pero po, ang happy ko, the Chief of this Justice is Mrs. Panganiban. Tama po ba yun? Seriously, ladies and gentlemen, may I thank formally Senator Edgardo J. Angara, whom we fondly call Ed, or Edja, or Edong, or Sedja, for inviting me to this beautiful and historic capital town of Baler. I met Senator Angara many decades ago when he was elected President of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines in 1979. Since then, I have become his loyal admirer. I joined him when he organized and became the founding president of the ASEAN Law Association, or ALA, in 1980. And I still vividly remember when as president of the University of the Philippines in 1981 to 1987, he gave me a small replica of the UP oblation, yung pong nakaganyan, di ba? Alam niyo yun. As a token of appreciation for my effort in arranging the donation to UP of a fire truck from Japan. Though not a UP alumnus, I treasure the oblation because my classmates at Mapa High School, nung ako yung high school pa, and I used to go to the UP campus in the 1950s. And before the oblation, we promised one another that we would study hard so we could earn an entrance scholarship for our college studies at the University of the Philippines. Though granted a scholarship, I unfortunately could not enroll at UP because my very poor parents could not afford the then 15 centavo ride between Sampaloc, where our small rented apartment was, and Diliman, Quezon City. Malayo po yun. 15 centavos ang ride. Wala pong pera yung mga magulang ko. Kaya sabi nila sa akin, diyan ka na lang sa FEU. Kaya napunta po ako sa FEU. As we all know, Senator Angara is the longest serving member of the Philippine Senate. And as I said earlier, he became Senate President in 1993 to 1995. He is very versatile. Siya po ang dapat na tinatawag na Renaissance man. Kasi po, he is not only a top-notch lawyer, educator, legislator, civic leader, and art connoisseur. He also became a cabinet member, having served as Executive Secretary and Agriculture Secretary. I believe he is the best trained and most rounded president the Philippines will ever have. Sa future pa ho yun. Even if I have never been a legislator, he asked me to serve as program chairman of the forthcoming International Conference of the Global Organization of Parliamentarians Against Corruption, or GOPAC, to be held in our country this January next year. Siya po ang chairman ng konferensyang yon, International Conference of Parliamentarians Against Corruption. Given my long history of my humble association with Senator Angara, I could not, though feeling unworthy, thoroughly unworthy and unqualified, I could not refuse his invitation for me to be the guest of honor, one of the two, during this program marking the 113th anniversary of the historic siege of Baler and the 10th Philippine-Spanish Friendship Day, as well as the 200th celebration of the Cadiz Constitution. Baler symbolizes to me, first, bravery in battle, Second, honor in capitulation. Third, friendship in victory. And fourth, progress in peace. These four virtues, bravery, honor, friendship, and progress, characterize every great nation, every great province, every great town, and every great leader. Permit me to explain. As you very well know, history tells us that the final Filipino Revolution against Spain broke out in 1896. A year after, in 1897, the revolution was temporarily halted by the Pact of Biak na Bato, which was the treaty executed between the Filipino and Spanish armed forces. However, in June of 1898, the American Navy under Admiral George Dewey entered Manila Bay and brought the Spanish-American War into the Philippines. Because of this, the Filipino revolutionaries resumed their fight for freedom against not only the Spaniards, but also against the Americans. Unfortunately, due to poor communications, the protagonists in Baler did not know these developments in Manila. 3 officers and 50 Spanish soldiers stationed in this town of Baler did not get any news of the renewed hostility against Spain. The Filipino rebels, or the Katipuneros of Baler, led by Teodorico Novicio Luna, launched an uprising on June 28, 1898. Outnumbered, the Spanish cazadores, led by Capitan Enrique de las Morenas, retreated to the stone-walled Baler Parish Church, which we visited a while ago. Despite deficiencies in supplies, food, ammunition, and occasional attacks by the Katipuneros, the Spanish troops held courageously for 11 months, or to be exact, 337 days. Outside Baler, the revolution raged on in Luzon. The Americans, however, became more aggressive as they wanted to wrest the islands from Spanish control, while the cazadores in Baler fought on gallantly to defend the last bastion of Spanish authority in our country. For their part, the Katipuneros continued with the siege of Baler, notwithstanding the death of Capitan Morenos. In December 1898, the Spanish troops held on bravely under the new commander, Lieutenant Saturnino Martin Cerezo, who, if I may quote history, by his iron will and strict discipline, kept his men under absolute control. Close quotation. Meanwhile, revolutionary groups from nearby towns helped the local Katipuneros. Colonel Calixto Villaporta from Nueva Ecija took over in leading the siege. Nonetheless, the revolutionaries failed to enter the church due to the unfailing resolve of Cerezo and his men to defend their bastion. In May 1899, a Spanish officer, Lieutenant Colonel Cristobal Aguilar, asked the Spanish defender to surrender because Spain had already ceded the Philippines to the United States. Initially, Cerezo did not believe the information until Aguilar showed him a copy of the Spanish newspaper El Imparcial, reporting the conclusion of the Spanish-American War. With this inevitable ending, the Spanish cazadores surrendered on June 2, 1899. Only 1 officer and 30 soldiers came out of the church alive. Survivors were brought to Tarlac, where they were treated with admiration for their bravery and dedication to their duty. On June 30, 1899, exactly 113 years ago, our then President Emilio Aguinaldo issued a presidential decree directing that Cerezo and his men should be deemed, if I may quote his decree, not as prisoners, but as friends, close quotation. The Aguinaldo decree lauded, if I may quote it again, the valor, constancy, and heroism with which that handful of isolated men without any hope of help defended their banner for a period of 1 year. They realized an epic as glorious as the legendary valor of the Salno, Percid, and Pelayo. Close quotation. Upon the return to Spain, Cerezo and his men were hailed as heroes and promoted by the grateful Spanish government. June 30, 1899 was a victorious day for both Spain and her former colony, the Philippines. While the Katipuneros wanted to vanquish the Spanish troops, at the same time, they hailed their courage and patriotism as worthy of emulation and admiration. Indeed, the two sides fought the Baler War gallantly. Both the Filipinos and the Spaniards kept their battle lines to the best of their ability, without treachery and without any ungentlemanly behavior. Though short in supplies and ammunition, the Spanish troops would not have surrendered had they not been convinced of the war's end. Because of their bravery in battle, they were honored even when they had already laid down their arms. Indeed, they were not treated as enemies, but as friends. And now, after peace had been restored, our two countries maintain a peaceful and progressive relationships, not as vassal and superior, but as equal and sovereign partners in the world. There are many mementos of friendship exchanged between our countries, but the sister cityhood between Baler and three other famous cities in Spain, namely Marbella, Sevilla, and Martos, speak volumes on the bravery in battle, honor in capitulation, friendship in victory, and progress in peace that the siege of Baler has fostered between the peoples of the Philippines and Spain. One of the most enduring and endearing mementos is Republic Act 9187, approved on February 5, 2003, declaring June 30 of every year as Philippine-Spanish Friendship Day. Appropriately, the law was sponsored by the favorite son of Baler, Senator Edgardo J. Angara, who coined the commemoration slogan for the celebration, Amistad Duradera, or enduring friendship between Filipinas and España. The presence today of His Honor, Francisco Perez de los Cobos Orihuel, and His Excellency, Vice Minister Jesus Gracia Aldas, and Ambassador Jorge Domecq, witnessed by several outstanding officials like our own Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Laura Tiu del Rosario, Dr. Benigno Pendas, Political Science Professor and Director of the Centro de Estudios Políticos y Constitucionales of Spain, Dr. Maria Serena I. Diokno, Chair of the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, Executive Director Ludovico Di Badoy of the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, Aurora Governor Belia Angara Castillo, Congressman and future Senator Juan Edgardo M. Angara. Di ba natin papalakpakan yun? Dapat po papalakpakan nyo sapagkat siya na ang magiging senador natin sa 2013. And of course, our Mayor Arturo J. Angara of Baler, among others, is a splendid affirmation of the celebration of Amistad Duradera. Ladies and gentlemen, I would have happily ended my little talk today with a toast to the saga of the siege of Baler that turned war into peace, capitulation into admiration, surrender into heroism. Had I not been reminded by Senator Angara when he invited me to be one of the two guest speakers this year, that 2012 marks also the bicentennial or the 200th year anniversary of the Cadiz Constitution, which the Spanish Cortes or Parliament or lawmaking body promulgated on June 19, 1812. The Cadiz Constitution was enacted by the Spanish government while on retreat from Napoleon's army and while Joseph Bonaparte was installed as monarch of Spain, replacing King Ferdinand VII. In the making of this fundamental law, representatives from the Spanish territories and North and South America, notably Chile, Peru, Ecuador, Cuba, Mexico, as well as from the Philippines, participated. Among the 303 representatives, 37 were born in overseas Spanish territories, including our country. The Cadiz Constitution was signed on behalf of the Philippines by Ventura de los Reyes of Bigan, who traveled by boat to and arrived in Spain on December 6, 1811. Prior to his arrival, his two deputies, Pedro Perez de Tagle and Jose Manuel Cauto, attended on his behalf the sessions of the Cortes, which, as I said, was the Spanish Parliament at the time. Though rejected after just 2 years in 1814, the Cadiz Constitution was nonetheless reinstated twice, in 1820 to 1823 and 1833 to 1837. And though short-lived and never completely implemented, the Cadiz Constitution is very significant to the world and to the Philippines because it reflected the spread of constitutional liberalism in Spain and the territories he had colonized, as well as in places outside. Significantly, this constitution provided for a limited monarchy, vested sovereignty in the people and no longer in the king, instituted universal male suffrage, pinayaan na pong bumoto ang mga tao, differentiated citizenship from nationality, instituted freedom of the press, as well as the concept of private ownership of property. Importante po yun sapagkat nung araw, bago magkaroon ng Cadiz Constitution, lahat po ng mga ari-arian ng bansa ay tinuturing na pag-aari ng hari. Pero nung pong magkaroon ng Cadiz Constitution, nagkaroon na ng pagkakataon na maging ang mamamayan ay magkaroon ng pag-aari ng lupa at mga bahay. The Cadiz Constitution also recognized the liberty of the citizens and nationals of Spain. Naging nationals po tayo ng Spain under the Cadiz Constitution. The Cadiz Constitution, for the first time, recognized Philippine representation in Spanish lawmaking, inspired the nationalist movement in our country. Many historians consider the Cadiz Constitution as really our first sovereign charter, which was really followed later on by our 1987 Biak na Bato Constitution, our 1898 Malolos Constitution that was framed by the leaders of the Philippine Revolution, the 1935 Constitution that established the Philippine Commonwealth and initiated the eventual independence of our country from American rule, the 1973 Constitution of the martial law years, and finally, the 1987 Constitution, which continues in its original form up to the present. And ladies and gentlemen, mga kababayan, utang po natin sa Espanya, hindi lamang ang Cadiz Constitution, kundi ang ating Civil Code, ang ating Penal Code, at ang ating Code of Commerce. Galing po rin lahat sa Espanya yan. Hindi lamang ang Cadiz Constitution, kundi ang ating Penal Code, yung Code of Crimes, yung Civil Code, at yung Code of Commerce. Yun po ang naging base ng mga ating batas, mga batas sa Pilipinas. To sum up, ladies and gentlemen, this year, we celebrate 3 milestones in Baler in our historic ties with Spain. First, the 113th anniversary of the Siege of Baler. Second, the 10th anniversary of the Philippine-Spanish Friendship Day. And third, the 200th anniversary of the Cadiz Constitution, which is considered by many historians as the first constitution of the Philippines. Maraming salamat po. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chief Justice Panganiban, for a very substantive, informative, and very inspiring message. Let's give Chief Justice another round of applause. And now to give us a distinctly Spanish perspective, permítanos, bienvenido. Let us welcome Honorable